Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and I am glad you're here for the Garage Rock VIP All Access. What I'm going to do here is show you everything that's in the game, what a player board looks like, and how Garage Rock works, thematically and mechanically. So let's just take a look at the board. This is massive. This is a big board, and you'll see that there is a central feature, which is a cube tower. This is going to essentially spit cubes out into the 4 different quadrants. Up here, you're going to see there is a mostly coated yellow. You'll even see the bar over here on the side, which is the radio waves reaching this part of town. Down here, you've got the blue section. Over here, you've got the green section. And up in the top right is the red section. So there's this guy named Johnny Law, and he is essentially going to if you can, entice him to promote your recorded tape. He is going to give you some super cool bonuses when it comes to, again, getting out your music, because we are recording music here with a band. So he's just going to start in one of the 4 quadrants, and I've got some of the bits and pieces laid out in the places where they belong, along with the potential gigs. There's going to be a sequence of gigs that get more and more demanding, but also more and more rewarding. We're going to start with 3 of the basics up here. And then we've got this kind of like dive bar that you can always go to that doesn't require any specific recording or any particular type of, set list. It's the Soggy Spoon Yogurt Dive Bar and the Rotten Roll Sushi Dive Bar. And you're going to switch this out essentially halfway through the game. So I've got the round marker here for 12 weeks. This is a 1 to 3 player game. In this case, the 1 player is still being worked on, that solo game. So currently 2 to 4 players. This is going to be the 4-player board, and there's going to be 16 weeks for 4 players. I've also, again, got this on that 3-player side here, because you'll put out these little cones to block 1 space in each of the 3 locations that's not your garage location here. This always stays open no matter how many players. So I've got this group right here. They're called the Suspenders, and I've got my 2 guitarists, my singer, my drummer. These are my worker placement pieces, and I'm going to send them out to go and do things. I essentially have my bicycle I can use if I ever get enough of my, essentially my blue, my motivation. But everything's going to start at 0. Everything's going to start down here at the bottom. Players do have this card here that tells them if they can essentially record 2 red songs, which are usually the love songs, and 2 of the yellow songs, which I forget what the yellow ones are. One of them's rock and one of them's like hits. And so there's 3 different songs you can record right here. So those are going to be the blue, the yellow, and the red. Then you're going to get some bonus points, and the whole point of the game is to get fans. So this is your fan track. And fans are just exactly the way, what you think they are. It's love towards you. So if you ever see a heart, that heart's going to be fan love, and that's going to move you up on the track here. So I'm just going to send out one of my workers. I'm going to send out my guitarist here. And let's just say I want to go over here to grab some advertisements. So I put it down, and I'm going to put it down on a space that is free. And if I cover up something, I'm going to gain it. So I'm going to get a motivation by putting my worker on that motivation space, and I pop it up by 1. And next time I can use my bike if I want to, and I'll show you how that works. So I come here, I get my motivation for free, and then I will do one of the 2 actions at my location. At the blue place, I can go here and I can spend $4 of my starting 5, which I'm the first player, so I only get $5. And I can move myself up on this green track right here and gain the matching instrument for the worker I sent there to kind of soup up their super cool star ability. And if you get all the items, if you get the super cool fancy acrylic guitar, so here's one of the pictures of the guitar. This could be what my character gets. Again, really cool. I'm going to talk a little bit about these bits and pieces too. So I essentially get that particular guitar after paying my $4 and moving up on the green track. If I can get this guy, and I can get them lessons, which the flag goes down here, the little ribbon goes down there, and I can get them super cool clothes, which all you do is just flip over their token, they then become a star, rock star, and they get a super cool bonus ability that will then apply to all of your future actions. So there's going to be some really cool things, and it's going to play into the end of the game for your star movement for victory points, which is really good. You kind of want to soup up all of your characters. But if you don't want to do the super cool, expensive thing that's in that space to up your blue, your pink, or your green tracks, which definitely plays into your set list, which again, that's all connected, then you can come here, maybe go to Zinco's, and you can grab some of these advertisements. Players are going to start with one, and these are little ads or posters you can put up to promote your particular band and the gig you want to go to by the time you get to go to a gig. So if I go here, let's say I pay $3, I can get 2 more ads. So I'm going to take that and do 2 more ads. I'll pay my $3. I'm going to get some change. There's my 2 back. Then I can optionally promote. So I'm going to take one of those posters that I just got, and I am going to go to Mikey's Birthday Bash, and I'm going to cover up either the motivation or I'm going to cover up the $2. I'm going to cover up the $2. I'm going to get $2 back into my kitty, which is one reason why you want to go and get ads. It was 3 to get 2, and I spent 1 and got $2 back. So I went there because I think I'm going to go to Mikey's Birthday Bash if I can get my blue up to 1, which is this dial over here. I have to come up to this space. And I have a red disc. I can get an optional victory point if I can do this, because this is the requirement of the songs you have to do on your set list. This is a requirement of your skills that you need, and then this is going to be the payout for it. And so I'm thinking that this is going to be a really good thing. Play goes around. Everyone's going to place out 1 worker in turn order, and if you have at least 1 worker out, you can do a set. You can essentially go and do a gig. Now, I have to have discs in my set to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do, and again, this is all about blocking places, and players are not going to necessarily get everything that they want. And I know right now I don't really have other people blocking spaces, but pretend like there's some folks out there. So if I come here, by the way, the very first thing you get to do on your turn is optionally spend motivation. So I didn't do this in the very first turn because nobody has motivation, but I have motivation now. And before I place band members or start my gig, I can do my motivation. And I have 1 motivation I can choose to ride a bike. Instead of going with the figure here and getting one of the bonuses, I can ride a bike and I can do both things in the location. So remember when I could do this one or this one? If I ride my bike and there is a bike rack available, I put the figure I want on my bike and I put them in the bike rack and do both things. So if I wanted to, I could send them out there and do that, and maybe I will. I think, I only have $4. I was going to come here and do 2 and then essentially write a CD, but I don't really have enough money. So in the meantime, I'll send out this guy. I'm going to come here and grab $2. So let me grab $2. I'm going to just take the 5 and then put those 3 back. Okay. So I come here and I get to do one of these 2 things. I can essentially take one of my songs and put it over in my set list, and you get to do it based on the black dial. So the more you move these up, when the last one reaches that space, you move it up and it then says 2, because right now every player simply gets to do 1. And you're transferring this number of songs over into your set list for your gig. So I really need to get my red song over here so that when I do a gig at Mikey's Birthday Bash, I actually have a song to play and I can meet the requirements. Otherwise, I would just take one of these discs and I would just put this over here and say, I wrote a song. This is a song now that I have. Now, one thing I want to make sure is that there are 2 sides to these little discs. And I haven't recorded this song yet, so it's not going to actually be on its black side. It's going to be on the blank kind of like light colored side. So I'm going to move this over here and put it in that space. Otherwise, I would be taking that disc right here. But the way that it's going to become recorded and flip over is if I come over here to record it. And then that's when you get these recorded songs, and that's going to be your bonus fans if you record a specific number of songs that they're looking for. And these are just randomly given out to players. So now that I have essentially sent out my worker and done my action, I can optionally promote, and I'm going to send out another ad. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to give myself this because I'm pretty sure I'm going to this Mikey's birthday bash, and you're going to get bonus points for having advertisements. That's going to give me one more motivation. And now it's going to be the end of turn. We're going to go around the horn. Everyone's going to place out a worker. And I'm going to optionally spend one motivation of my 2 to ride my bike. I'm going to ride my bike up here to the space where there's the bike rack. So you don't get a bonus when you do the bike rack, but the bonus that you do get is both places. So I'm going to spend $2, put 5 in, get 3 back, and I'm going to up my blue because I have to have that blue to go over here. And then in doing so, this guy, which is my bass guitarist, is going to go to music lessons, and they're going to get that little badge. That's their ribbon. And that's one of the 3 things to make them a superstar. And then I will pay $3 to record this particular song, flipping it over to the black side and putting that recorded CD in the red space of my player board. And now at the end of this turn, which is that kind of step 3, optionally promote, I can give this recorded tape to Johnny Law, and I can essentially roll the dice and get my sound waves out there and get my song out to people's ears, which is really, really good. So I'm going to pay this, and that's because he's in the same space as me. So if he is in a different space, there are spaces for him in each one of those. I can't choose to do that action because he's not in the same space, which is a quadrant. So I pay this back to the supply, and then I'm going to grab his die because he is going to then move, and I'm going to drop down 2 cubes. No, not 2. I'm going to drop down 3 cubes, and that is going to be listed right here. Now, when you go and do a gig, you're going to drop down 2. So just remember that there's that difference. Now, here's the fun part. So I'm going to drop these cubes down here, and when they come out, they're going to go into one of these quadrants, and I'm going to receive that progress. Okay, so it looks like 1 music note here. It looks like 1 music note here. This guy is 2 music notes because there is a 2 music note on that. And then Johnny stays right there. So now these guys are going to come off the board, and if I had landed on or passed one of these markers for money or for motivation, for advertisements, for writing songs, for gaining really cool t-shirts and different progress in my skills, I would have gained those. So that's going to be the end of my turn, and it's going to go all the way back around. Now I can't use my bike because my bike is currently out, so I can't use my 1 motivation. So I'm just going to move to my last figure. I could play this figure out, or I can say, let's do a gig. And I think I'm going to say, let's do a gig right now because I have met my qualifications and I really want to get the headliner spot. Now, what does that mean? There's going to be the opening band and there's going to be a headliner spot. Now, if 2 players are going to go in one particular gig, they each are going to receive 1 extra fan or victory point down here. And it just goes around again the turn order. If it comes back to me and my figures are still out here and no one has joined me, then I take it off and the gig was just a headliner gig for me. But I could pick either side. So what I do is I'm going to place all my band members at the gig. I'm going to take them all off the board, which relieves those positions for other players to go there. I'll bring my bike back. And then I'm going to gain any headliner or opener bonuses, and then receive my payout. And I'm going to do, okay, let's get to that one thing first. So the headliner bonuses, I move up on the blue track, and I also gain 1 on my pink track. And the pink track on this dial are these cubes you're going to drop at the end of the game, and they're going to give you progress and victory points for your band members. So it's always good to get these pink dials. Get them as often as possible because it will pay out at the very end when you do the big band. Okay, so I will move my token back over here because I have my disc. I did my 1 track. I also have 1 blue, so I'm going to essentially work. This is going to be in my favor. Let me put this up under here. So I had the 1, I have my blue track, I also am going to receive my payouts. If my disc was red, which it didn't have to be, I would gain a +1, but I get 4 victory points, $3, and then my +1. And then for every ad that matches my player color, I get 1 more point. So I get 1, 2, 3, 7 total fan points. And if I have a t-shirt at this time, I can place a t-shirt out. This is me selling merch. I do not have a t-shirt out. I don't have one in my supply. This would gain me 2 more drops of the cubes down into the airwaves. At the end of this gig phase, this would give me 2 more motivation and $3. So merch is so good. Merch is the best. And you'll see the outline in t-shirts. So I did well, but I wish I could have gotten some of that merch out there. I didn't. So let me get my 7 points. And then I get my $3. 1, 2, 3. So I've got my payout. I've got my song back. I sell my merch. I'm going to drop Johnny Law down. So I just get 2 cubes and 1. If I'd gotten that t-shirt, that would have been really, really cool. Okay, so these guys, those are going to stay because the concert's still happening. So I drop this down, and then I will advance the calendar marker. Every time someone does a gig that's not in this location down here, you will move that marker. So, wow. Okay, so Johnny comes over here. He moves. This one goes up 1 space, and I gain $2. So I'm going to take the 5 and put those 3 back. And then this guy goes up 1 space here, and that is it. So these cubes are going to come down here. We're going to move that timeline. And every time someone does that, that's what the playing a gig looks like. Now my folks will sit here all the way until it becomes my turn again. In the meantime, another player can come and join, meet all the criteria, play down some merch, and then we both gain that +1 bonus. So there is a reason to do an opening. There is a reason to join somebody. But again, if they're not there, then my figures come back to me at the start of my next turn. And then I will put these guys back, and this will go away, and we will gain a level 2. This is Putt Putt Paradise. Level 2 requires more skills. It requires more discs. And it might even require that you have 2 specialized discs. Really, really interesting. One is a disc of your choice. The other one's a yellow one. And you can gain bonus 2. These bonuses are going to get better. Everything is just going to get better. So I'm going to put all my figures back into their spaces. And we just keep playing until we reach our week 12. And when the week 12 happens, we are going to move into the rock phase at the end, where players are going to drop an amount of these purple and pink cubes based on their dial and based on some final criteria. So let me get that board and I'll show you. So here's the board. I'm going to show it to you up close. This is going to be it. You're going to get these bonuses for having any of those remaining, 10 or more dollars. All of your dials are up to 4. You have written 6 songs, which you only have space for 6. You essentially have 3 or more songs in your set list still. You've got 3 or more motivation remaining, and you've got 1 recorded CD or cassette tape. Those will give you all the bonuses. And then you're going to start all of your figures. If you're a star and you've got your figure, you actually get to start 2 steps ahead. And the star means you've got all 3 of your souped up bonuses. And then you'll drop all your cubes and they'll come out in one of the 4 quadrants. And you'll receive that many victory points for however far your rockers move. And then you're going to go in reverse order of victory points on the track. And every player will get a chance to place down 1 ad and 1 merch if they have any ads or merch left on their board. So they're going to get these bonuses as well. This is a fascinating end game, and there's a way to do it where it's not so random, but at the same time I find it to just fit in really well with the game itself. So what's my final take? I will say that I feel like the game is a lot. Not the game content, but just the game itself. There's a lot of souped up pieces and really cool components and a lot of 3D things and cool acrylics that you get to put onto your board for like your drummers and your singers with the mics. The little ads are little, the t-shirts are little. There's a lot of small components that are kind of hard to pick up, and there's just a lot to put back in the box. And so I find, even the first player marker is one of those kind of VIP badges. I mean, the monies are these big chonky monies. I mean, they're like massive pieces. The 1s and the 5s are the same size. They do have really cool drawings on them. I feel like everything has such a nice, like, nice graphic style, and it's very thematic. But for me, it's just like overproduced. I feel like I probably would enjoy the game if it were just pared down a little bit when it comes to everything. I mean, the dice, you need to have dice. I love the little dice and the fact that there's, you know, 1 music note or 2 music notes based on the progress you have in different regions. Thematically, it makes sense that way. In the dice tower, there's a souped up one, which is the one I'm showing you, but there's also like a cardboard one that you can build that works just as equally well. I mean, I would probably play with the cardboard one normally. So I feel like there's some nice things, but it's also just maybe a little bit too much. Like it feels like just too much. I mean, all the dials feel and look really real, like those kind of like, you know, tuner dials and the, inspiration or motivation dials and things like that. But it's a lot. So when you pack up the game, when you unpack the game, it is a heavy, full box. If you want a souped up game and you want to like impress people and you want to like have all the good feels, like all the textures and the really cool looks and stuff, I mean, this is definitely it, but for me, it's not the most impressive thing. The thing that I really appreciate about this is that players can choose when they want to go and play a gig, and if they play it right, they don't even necessarily have to go to the garage to make their set list, because their motivation, if they have enough of it and they're not using it to bike around, they can spend in the beginning to write a set list so that they can actually go and play a gig that round. And they can really surprise players that way because they're not expecting you to go. And when you go and play a gig, you meet the requirements, it's really good. It's a way to get money. It's a way to spend your merch to get more stuff. It's a way to get your fans. And you're also making progress on the calendar track. So every time you're doing that, you're progressing the game and you're accelerating it faster. And you have to have at least one of your workers out on the board to then play a gig. But again, you can choose when you want to play a gig or not. I like how the cards progress into harder and harder gigs that require more, but then offer more rewards for you. The game is relatively fast. You only get to play a couple gigs because if everyone in a 3-player game is playing 3 or 4 gigs, that's your 12 weeks, because every gig you play, unless you're going down to the dive bar, which doesn't trigger the calendar movement, is going to give every player just a couple before you get into the end game. I like how you can soup up your specific musicians to get their bonus. I like that you can do, it's the acrylic, it's the training, and then it's the cool colors. So you turn over your singer, and then you've got your cool side, your microphone stand, and then their training, and then they get their bonus tile. And you can just add whichever bonus tile you want for them. And then, of course, as you saw, it gives you a bonus in the final end game. They have like a 2-step advance progress on that particular track. There's the promote, which I find to be really fascinating. You're sending out your ads to places that you intend to go to, but you don't have to. So if you put an ad or a flyer down at the Cafe Retro, you don't have to go there to play a gig. You still get the bonus that you cover up. You're just not getting the bonus 1 fan victory point when you go there. But you still could go there too, which would be really great. So I like this game. I think it's interesting. I think it's a really clever worker placement where those places like open up periodically as players collect their band to go send out to a gig. And so there is no timing. Everyone's doing kind of whatever they want on their turn by either placing a figure or playing a gig. And when you play the gig, you take all your workers back and open up those spaces that other players are really wanting to go to. Like, it's cool, but the version is just like that I got is so souped up. And again, it's cool, but also a little bit unnecessary. There's a lot going on the board. It takes a lot of adjusting. It's way busy, like way, way busy. And I feel like it can be super overwhelming to new players to kind of figure out where are the spaces, where's the information, and what do I need to focus on or pay attention to, because it's just a lot to look at. And yeah, I feel like it can be a little tricky. Fortunately, there is this great player aid, and it does walk you through exactly all the steps you need to do on your turn in brief. and then to play a gig. So, fun, super thematic, great use of your worker placement, and a really, really thematic use of your dice tower. I mean, to drop your cubes down this treehouse and then to make it go into sections where, you know, you are going to be gambling a little bit with that and where you're actually making progress. But I think that's cool. It's kind of like you can't control the airwaves. You can't control people's reactions to your music. So again, thematically, really, really like that. And then, of course, dropping all the cubes at the very end can be just loads of fun as you are trying to, of course, beat the person in front of you in your fans and in your love. So it's super, super fun. There is a way to kind of mitigate that if you want to play a little bit more, less kind of risky with the drop tower. But I prefer playing a little bit more fun. I like the luck of it. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out. I really just wanted you to get a good feel for what it is, how you're doing it, how it all works together, and how you just continue growing and building up, because you are essentially souping up your band, souping up your skills and talents, building up your writing and your set list so that you have a nice song list and you are essentially just crushing it out there on your gigs. It's fun. It's got a lot of cool stuff, but it's going to take you a while to set it up, and it's going to take you a while to put it back in the box. All right, I'll see you next time, folks. Bye.